Let's now go ahead and create some chopsticks. When you're adding a new object using the add menu or pressing Shift A, it always creates it on this cursor, and I don't mean the mouse cursor, the arrow, but this red and white circle with those black axes right there. And that's the 3D cursor that Blender uses to kind of pinpoint some location in the scene, mostly for creating new objects, or it can be used for transforms or rotations, but that's for another time. And easiest way to move it is to use the cursor tool right here. You can just click it and basically click anywhere to move it, and it will snap on the surface of the nearest object. So this will now be placed on the top of the plate, but it will be again tedious to kind of switch to the cursor tool. So while in the select mode, you can hold Shift and right click anywhere in the scene and place the cursor. So this is the shortcut I use all the time. So let's hold Shift and right click here. So I will place the chopsticks to the side of the plate right here. Let's press Shift A and we'll add the cube. Now, of course, we'll need to make this smaller. And since I'm going to be defining the shape of the object and scaling it in different way, of course, I want to go into the edit mode. So let's tap into the edit mode. And before, when we were talking about transform tools like the scale, you could see these little boxes that would allow you to scale something only on 2 axes. So for example, if I don't want to scale this along x-axis, I would drag the red one and it will leave the red one out. And of course, you can do that with shortcuts as well. So let me switch back here. And if you use S for scaling, you can hold Shift and hit any axis you want to exclude. So in this case, I want to exclude x-axis, so I'll hit Shift X. And right here, you will see the transformation is locked only for Z and Y, the blue and green, and I can scale it down like this and create a thickness for the chopstick. And then I can press S and chain the axis again, and now I will press X, not Shift X, and that will basically isolate on the other side the transformation for only that axis. So remember, X or Shift X or Y or Shift Y will allow you to do these different operations. So let's scale it like this, for example. And now I will tab out and let's call this chopstick. And now I will press 1 on a numpad for a front view and press G, then Z to move this up. So it's placed nicely on the plate. Now let's rotate the viewport. And now I want the other one, and there are multiple ways to do that. You could, of course, use array again, but that's a little bit of an overkill if you just want to create 2 objects. And then again, I don't want these chopsticks to be just straight next to each other. I want to rotate them a little bit so they look like you place them a little bit randomly. And in this case, it's better to duplicate the object. And as you could see before, you can just right click and you have 2 different options for duplication. You can use Shift D or Alt D, or duplicate objects and duplicate linked. Now I'll show you both of these because this is again really important and really powerful concept in Blender that will repeat all throughout all of the courses. So let's duplicate the objects in a simple way right here, and I will place it like this. And now let me select the first one again, and I will duplicate this one using the linked duplicate. So let's right click and duplicate linked, or you can use Alt D. And now again, we'll go back to the concept of object mode and edit mode, the object and object data, because this is really important here. All of these 3 objects look completely the same, and you can manipulate them in object mode. You can rotate them, you can move them, and they will all totally look the same, no matter what you do in the object mode. Let's go back a little bit. But there's a key difference. Now, this one that we duplicated using Shift D or duplicate object, let's expand the object right here. You can see there's a cube 002. But if we open the original one right here, the chopstick, you can see there's a cube 001. So you can see the data of these 2 objects are different. We basically duplicated it, and no matter what changes we do to the other object, it will stay different. So I can just go into the edit mode for this one and make it shorter if I want, and nothing will happen. But let's select this one, the third one, chopstick 002. And if I expand the object and look at the data, you can see the data are 001, the same as the first chopstick. So as you can probably see by now, we're only duplicating the container of the object, but the data is linked. It only exists in one place within Blender file, and we're using it in both objects. So if I go into the edit mode for this one and try to shorten it, I'm now editing both of those at once. But if I'm in the object mode and scale it, for example, it will allow me to do so because we're in the object mode. We are scaling the container, not the data inside. Hopefully this all makes sense. Some of these are a little difficult concepts to understand and grasp at first, but then if you get them under your skin, it will become your second nature, trust me. But I found it really important to kind of unload this kind of information on you with your first contact in Blender, because this kind of determines how you will go on and how you will learn Blender if you will have any problems understanding the concepts and techniques on your journey. So please bear with me on these explanations a little bit until we get some more action into the way how we progress. So let's now press X and delete this object. Again, great shortcut here. So let's select the object, press X and choose delete. And now we'll select the original one. So let's now press Alt D to create that link duplicate. And remember, we can chain commands. So if you press Y, you will lock the movement on Y axis and just move it somewhere here and confirm with the left click. And now press R. And again, we'll chain the rotation with the Z axis. So press Z and just rotate it along the Z axis like that. And now we'll add some material and we'll take advantage of the fact that these are linked. So not only we get to edit them, so for example, if you want to make one side more narrow, you can do that for both at once, but we can create new material and the same material will get assigned to that linked duplicate, at least by default. It can be overridden, of course, but again, that's the story for another time. So with the new material, let's find some wooden color like this. And you can see it's changing for both. Now, finally, to tidy up a little bit, we left the cursor on the side there. You can use Shift S for snap option menu and snap cursor to world origin, and it will reset to 000 location of your scene. So yeah, basically that's all the modeling right now, and we can move on to the next part.